I got a delivery of, I thought it was going to be mortar mix. It's concrete. I can't use this. Who did this? Crying emoji. Guys,
Eli doesn't need to be the only one who's doing it.
could I talk for a second about Operation Midnight Hammer? A couple of things before I get into this. So, I'm not really going to talk about the geopolitics because we don't really know yet what's going to happen. And also, this is a fucking tragedy because people died. Like, so I'm going to talk about a lot of the technology, a lot of the logistics, but I wish this hadn't have happened, to be very clear, right? Like, I wish that this did not ever happen. And hang the consequences. Even if otherwise Iran would have had a nuclear bomb and nuked somebody, I still wish this wouldn't have happened. It's still wrong. There were still better ways to do it. So, like, that's the start of this, okay? Having said that, it was.
Are you about to talk about how it's cool?
It was not. It was sort of cool. It depends on what you think cool is, but what it was is insane. It was so complex, and the technology was at the very least, it was really interesting, and very relevant to some of the things that I am interested in. Like Francie has said, there's this conspiracy theory that everything goes back to rocks with me, and this really does go back to rocks. So
they bomb Iran with rocks?
No, but you're not that far off.
They throw rocks at Iran?
You sort of had a 50-50, Dan. Rock. You had a heads or tails, and you just picked tails when it was actually heads.
Okay, well, what was
They threw stuff at rocks.
Bombed Iran. Oh, okay.
They what?
They threw the stuff at the rocks. They didn't throw the rocks at other stuff.
Okay.
So
Did the rocks blow up?
Here's the deal. If for the last 30, 40 years, if the United States wants to conduct a single bombing raid where they actually definitely want to take it, we know where we're fucking shooting in the first place. We're not just like blowing up farmers. We're going to use B-2 Spirit bombers because B-2 Spirit bombers are the best stealth that we have that can deliver these bombs. It's like obviously that, okay? That's why they're stealth bombers, okay? So B-2 Spirit bombers, however, are not invulnerable. They're not invisible, and they're not. It's like you can detect them as an enemy force if you get lucky. So here's how this operation had to work. They launched from an Air Force base, they being many, many planes that I'm about to go into, launched from an Air Force base in the United States. There is no military aircraft, I don't think. Maybe a B-2 Stratofortress or something back in World War II that can reach Iran from the United States without many aerial refuelings. Not one, not two, many aerial refuelings.
Like 8?
Yes, like 8, like more than 5. So what they had to do.
We don't have a stealth bomber that can fly to Iran in one shot.
The only way to do that would be by putting a nuclear reactor on board.
Because it's very small and is carrying heavy stuff.
No, the B-2 Spirit bomber is huge.
Why don't we have that?
Because the only way to do it would be with nuclear power. It just like so. There's there's a physics reason for this, which is simply that when you go fast through air, the faster you go, the harder it is, and it's a bad curve. It's an exponential curve. So if you have to cut your way through the air, you have to use a lot of fuel, period. And you have to cut through a lot of air because it's a big. Yep.
Commercial planes can fly from America to Iran, so it must be that something is heavier.
Not
We're
really.
Going way the military plane is going like way faster though.
Wait, am I wrong in thinking that a commercial aircraft can fly from America to Iran?
No, I don't think so. I think that there are ones. I think that the Boeing 7
directs to China.
Yeah,
it's closer than Iran.
There's direct flights. There's direct flights to the moon, like.
Okay, they can let me answer this question, you guys. Because fucking
not at a commercial airline.
Oh my Lanta. I think that the Boeing 777 extended range could maybe do it. I think that plane will fly from like Copenhagen to Australia, which I think is a similar sort of distance. but it's right on the edge. And that's like one of the farthest flying planes. And if it was full, if that was like at full capacity for passengers, it might struggle to do it. Okay. So it's right on the edge.
It definitely couldn't make it back.
Unbelievable to me.
And commercial planes are designed for efficiency and to fly really far. Like 777ER is extended range. It's like it's the only thing it's for is efficiency and to fly really far. There's like trade-offs when you have to make a plane stealth, when you have to make it protected and armed and carry bombs. There's like trade-offs. And what are you trading off? You can't fly as far.
Efficiency.
Yeah. So there is no military aircraft that could have done this without many aerial refuelings. So they had to create this thing called an air bridge, where there's a string of tankers strategically spaced in safe airspace from, I forget the name of the Air Force base, but they left from the United States, and they did this. They had to stop in safe airspace. So the planes that were involved was, I think, 7 B-2 Spirit bombers. They used F-35A Lightning for what's called swing roll, which means that sometimes if they were attacked in Iran or over Afghanistan or whatever, the F-35s, which are the newest planes that we have, would like be in dogfights and probably lose because they're not that good in dogfights. And then sometimes they would be doing like air to ground and like defending the other planes against people on the ground. Because the whole point of the F-35 is that it's swing roll. That's why it was so fucking expensive.
What is swing roll?
What I just described, where sometimes they're doing one thing, fighting planes, and sometimes they're doing another thing.
Okay.
There were F-16s, and some of the F-16s were, I think it was F-16s. If I'm getting this wrong, I apologize. But that had the job of just jamming. They just jammed radar and communications. Because here's the deal with Operation Midnight Hammer. This is why I wanted to talk about this. I want you to imagine that this operation would not have been technically, technologically possible without many different kinds of planes and many different logistical hurdles. They would have just shot them all down, right? If they didn't have those planes that were jamming radar and communications flying ahead of them, the B-2 Spirit bombers, they would have all been shot down, every single one of them. Because at some point, it happened during the nighttime, but at some point they would have been seen, or they would have been heard, or they would have been detected, even though they're stealth. They would have been shot down. Okay? So this wouldn't have been possible without all of these planes. And so they had F-35s doing swing roll, I think F-16s doing jamming. They had F-22s that did nothing for air superiority because they were never attacked. And F-22s are pretty stealth themselves. But F-22s are far and away the best dogfighting aircraft in the world right now, better than the new Russian aircraft, so they tell me. And so, but
I believe you.
They did nothing. They were never attacked in the air. But just in case, you have to have air superiority for something like this, because any aircraft from the last 50 years that's meant for aerial combat is going to destroy a B-2 Spirit bomber. It's just what's going to happen, because it's not what the B-2 is for.
The B-2 is meant to go there and drop them.
Yeah, so it's this huge aerial flotilla of tankers. Well, the tankers didn't move. They just met them at the various stops. But it involved tankers, and it was this huge flotilla of different types of fighters and just stuff that's there for technological stuff like jamming and bombers and different types of fighters. It was this crazy flotilla. And then there's the bombs themselves. So Iran, they look at their surficial geology, which is the rocks on the surface, and they think, okay, we're going to go down as far as we reasonably can, and we're going to build our uranium enrichment labs underground. Why? It's very expensive for Iran to do that. It's because uranium enrichment is very technically complicated. Like to the point where even with a big team of really committed, intelligent, educated people, it's going to take like years and years and years. Okay.
Really hard to do.
Yeah, it's very technically challenging. So if you blow it up you're going to be set back like a long time, probably. That depends on a couple of asterisks. You can maybe even see one of them. Like, what if you just learned more? What if Iran just learned how to do this and they just build them again? It's still probably going to send them back away. So Iran says, we sort of know what the enemy is likely to come at us with to try to blow up our centrifuge facilities. So we're going to go down, we're going to tunnel down that far plus a little bit and build our lab underground. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And then, yeah. And so that means that famously, of the countries that would shoot at Iran, only the United States had the technological capacity to maybe destroy these labs. And it had to be a special kind of bomb called MOB, massive something B, massive underground blast or something like that. Massive ordnance, MOP, massive ordnance penetrator. That's what it was. MOP. They're MOPs. And they're huge.
Gotta mop them up.
These are huge missiles. Not missiles, they're huge bombs. They get dropped. And
not missiles.
When they're either strike or are very close to the ground, they fire a slug of explosives straight down.
So like when they hit the ground, they shoot a thing.
Yes.
It's like dropping a blasting cap on a big bullet.
Yeah. Except it's shooting something.
Or a big striking hammer.
Probably a slug of multiple, if I had to guess, if I had to build this, it would be like, it would fire a slug of copper that's probably like yay big.
A big copper slug, not like
because
an explosive?
I don't know. Maybe it fired an explosive, but if it was an explosive, it would have to be an explosive encased in like a really significant amount of metal, because otherwise the explosive would just atomize when it hit the ground. Like it wouldn't get deep enough. These are bunker busters, which means that they have to transfer a huge amount of either kinetic or chemical energy, if they are throwing an explosive, down through literally hundreds of feet of rock.
How deep are these labs?
Like we don't know because it's a security thing, but even the U.S. government probably doesn't fully know. But the U.S. government can look at the superficial geology of Iran and guess how far they were probably able to build down with like the budget that they had.
Like sonar it?
Yeah, if you let a crew go and use their ground penetrating radar, they have to be on the ground.
Sonar things from distances because there's this tomb in China. Anyway, never mind.
Mostly no, especially not from a stealth capable aircraft that's flying safely. Almost certainly not. It's also very hard to get a picture. Yeah, it's a beautiful question. This is very hard to get a picture with ground penetrating radar. We don't know if there are rooms in the pyramids that we haven't discovered yet.
Eli, your audio
wait,
just
why
changed.
did I lose you? Hang on, I can't hear you in my headphones.
Yeah. With these
That's a very cute little water pump.
I bought it for myself and it's improved my quality of life.
And you know what?
I'm glad to hear
we both noticed it.
Yeah.
It's like such a W. So anyway, specifically the parts of the military industrial complex that touched this operation were barely fucking capitalist. Barely. Like that, it's such a stretch to call that anything other than a fucking command economy. Because like the way military contracts are bid is like the most Soviet thing that happens in the United States. Like, and especially if you think about things like the B-2 Spirit bomber, the heart of this operation, what the fuck competition? All of that plane is still secret. What is the openness? What is the maritime? Like, come on, man. Like, it just doesn't make any goddamn sense at all. I actually think that
it's kind of the inverse of what I was saying. It's kind of proving that capitalism and this meritocracy is just like a farce anyway, and like we don't want to provide for people who are dying on the streets.
It's funny because I sort of agree with you, but I also kind of think the opposite of what you just said. I actually think that the fact that you can't really build a good military without going all communist on it is one of the biggest arguments against the fucking military.
How is that?
Because I don't dislike capitalism.
I think that's just an addition to what I was saying.
I think it is too. But the reason why is that I don't dislike capitalism. I just dislike the tax policy. I don't think that you could have done this operation.
Don't like our implementation of it.
Yeah.
I think that people shouldn't be dying on the streets, and we should have like a really, really robust welfare system.
Yeah.
But like my point because you're saying the military industrial complex is a command economy, it's like it just like completely breaks down these conservative arguments that we live in any type of meritocracy, or that we live in any type of capitalist like
now, for the people at home. For the people at home, explain what a meritocracy actually is. To me,
the good
explain
ones
what it is.
Will
to me
the good ones will win out, like in capitalism.
Okay,
if you have low regulations and.
So a meritocracy is like the good ones will float to the top. Like the bet you make 1 million toothpastes, the good toothpaste is going to win. Okay.
That's my understanding. Merit.
Yeah, of good
system
merit.
built on merit.
Yeah. All right.
And it's an argument for like unregulated. It's something that people say happens in unregulated capitalism.
Oh yeah. Oh, which it totally doesn't. It totally doesn't.
I think it happens with regulation. I think.
Yeah, with tons of with aggressive.
With government involvement.
With
Fritzy,
aggressive
what were you saying?
government
You're getting
involvement,
interrupted. It's happening.
Yeah, by me.
No, I didn't think I was being interrupted. But I think what I was saying was that. Well, okay, what I'm saying right now is that if you eliminate meritocracy and you introduce regulation and you have more and more and more things being controlled by the government, you're able to have a system where the best for the people wins out, not the best for corporations. Because capitalism is a system that is built to serve the capitalists and the shareholders, like technically, not built to serve the people. And obviously we all know this, but yeah.
But this is an example of that.
Valuable to say it out loud. Yeah, okay.
It's definitely an example of that I haven't really thought about. I haven't really thought of the military-industrial complex as a command economy, because I think people are always kind of saying the line of like these corporations are, which obviously like there are corporations that are really involved with funding like Israel and funding the military-industrial complex. But if you kind of like twist it in the way that you're saying, it makes it sort of a bigger critique of the flaws of like the whole beast.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And you're understanding the whole beast. And I think obviously divestment and like boycotts of these corporations is really important. But it's just like an artery of the same like thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's other funny examples of the sort of connection between war being the opposite of like peace and it actually being kind of in a weird way a violation of capitalism. Because like, okay, think about NASA. We think of like NASA in some ways is kind of similar to the military industrial complex. There's a lot of the same companies, and people think of it kind of in the same way, but it's not. Like, it just isn't. Like, there's a lot of companies that NASA funds. NASA has big contracts with some companies, but in a lot of ways, NASA, the rockets we send to space are way more diversified and way more competitive than building fighter jets. In practice.
Really?
Yeah, I know people don't think of that, but it's true.
The Apollo space program was the biggest commitment of funds made by any country in history that wasn't directly for war. It was made in peacetime. Obviously, it was during the Cold War, so there was war happening. But it was the biggest commitment of resources ever made by a nation in a time of peace, and it
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the numbers, but I think I've said the statistics on
I think you
the
may have as
statistic on
well.
the pod
I
before.
believe you have. I remember you doing that.
Over 400,000 like outside firms were like contracted with. It was
Yeah.
employed an insane number of people.
So even right now, there's like NASA works with Boeing, Spirit Aerosystems, Northrop Grumman, and SpaceX. Those are just the four I know off the top of my head. There aren't that many companies that make 5th and 6th generation fighter jets. There's just 2.
So is this an argument that this is a capitalist thing, or is this an argument that this isn't a capitalist thing?
So I think that peace, I think that communism and war go together in a way that capitalism and war kind of sort of don't, especially if capitalism is just.
Communism, I feel like communism is not really the rhetorically accurate word, because communism means something so different historically and contextually.
Yeah.
But we're talking about like that command economy piece of it.
In fact,
we're talking
all the
about
language I'm using is sort of wrong. like all that was wrong.
Things being funded by taxpayer money versus things being funded by corporate money.
Yeah.
Is really what we're talking about. Because to say that communist governments are more likely to do war, which I know is not what you're trying to say, but I feel like that could add to a lot of like negative sentiment about places that were quote unquote communist, which tend to be places that face a lot of like judgment on like the world stage.
I think communist countries are very likely to do war. I also think that unjust capitalist countries are just as likely to do war.
But when we think of countries that are labeled communist in history, I'm thinking about how those places are seen so unfairly in like history's eye, like a place like Cuba or a place like Venezuela.
It's true.
So
you're right.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about but I think I might be going a little bit too deep into like just my own rabbit hole in my brain.
That's okay. Did you guys want to ask?
Always possible.
We can keep talking about that, but
as having merit.
Yeah, but did you guys want to ask a question?
A different
about
question?
Iran? Oh, not so much.
No, one of your topics. We can keep talking about this if you want.
Oh yeah.
It's up to you.
Dan, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, let's do it. So, I want to know. So, we got an atmosphere, we got water, we got the sun. Is that it? Like, why Earth got life and not Saturn?
God.
So
it's a big question.
Why not Saturn is a small question.
Okay.
Saturn is a gas giant.
Saturn doesn't have. Isn't it a gas?
Yeah.
Thing.
Most of the mass.
Okay, then why not why not Mars? Why not Mars? Why are we trying to go to Mars? It's just like irradiated dirt.
Well, there's a few reasons. Why we're trying to go to Mars is something exploration, something science, which I totally approve of. But why doesn't Mars have life is like there's a few big ones. One of the big ones is that it had a little bit less mass, which means it wasn't so easily able to hold on to its atmosphere. And
so it had an atmosphere at a time.
Oh yeah, it still does. It's about 1,000th, I think. It's way less than Earth's. If you were standing in hurricane speed winds on Mars, you wouldn't even notice because the air is so thin. But it still has an atmosphere. But it wasn't as easily able to hold on to it as Earth because it's quite a bit smaller. It's like a 10th.
Okay.
It's like a 10th the mass, which I recently looked up, which is crazy, right? I expect it to be less, but
yeah, a 10th. Wow, no, I would have thought it was a little bigger than that. Yeah, Mars is a little baby planet.
So I hope that's right. Fuck, I hope that's right. But there's other reasons. So Mars doesn't have a liquid core that is moving in the same way as Earth's, which we still don't super understand why Earth has a magnetic field, but it's something to do with the metal core, the metal outer core.
Do magnets not work on Mars?
It's a fantastic fucking misconception. Compasses don't work.
Oh, but if you hold two magnets, they're gonna.
Mercury.
Venus.
Sorry.
What are we talking about?
Mercury?
Venus.
Never mind.
Earth.
Well, in compasses. Oh no, that's thermometers. Never mind.
That's thermometers, bro.
Completely disregard.
Thank you for coming.
Okay.
You're welcome.
So
Yes.
Bye.
So we've got
compasses
atmosphere.
Don't work on Mars.
Yeah, we've got atmosphere. We've got radiation because of the magnetosphere, or the lack of the magnetosphere, and also it is farther away from the sun, which means it was always going to receive less solar energy. If it had a really thick atmosphere, it could hold on to the solar energy that it does have and maintain some temperature. The third reason is liquid water. Mars doesn't have any liquid water, although it used to.
Ooh, how much?
Enough for us to think that maybe Mars did have life at some point. That's why we're spending so many hundreds of millions of dollars looking for it, because it had enough liquid water that, like, hey, maybe.
Yeah.
My question is why we're so driven to this type of curiosity, because I've been thinking a lot about God, and I've been thinking a lot about how we're sort of people are, because I don't believe in God. I believe in evolution, and I have been thinking about it a lot. So I'm like, okay, how are the drives that we have as people kind of grounded back to like being evolutionarily advantageous in some way? But where does this curiosity come from to find more of the same in other places? Like,
That's a fantastic
why?
question. That's a fantastic fucking question. So John Green recently this year gave a talk in front of some like religious club at Harvard. Okay, so it wasn't a graduation
Religious
speech.
club at Harvard.
Yeah,
Would
it was.
love to do the same.
I know. So basically, John Green was asked the question in this question and answer session afterwards. He had said that questions about whether or not God exists just don't interest him at all. Like they're just totally uninteresting to John Green. Debating whether or not God is real, or like wondering about it, he just doesn't care. But he'd also said that he really cares about questions of where did life come from and why does the universe exist and stuff like that. Like those things really do get him in the way that he suspects the question of whether God exists gets other people. So one student asked the question, why does this fascinate you and not this? And John laughed because he had no fucking idea. He had no idea why that fascinated him.
Because that's how his particular flavor of autism broke it all down in his head.
But that's like obviously a cop out. Like I still want a mechanism for that, right? So
yeah.
Well, the only mechanism that it could possibly be has some basis in the process of evolution. And I'm not trying to say that that evolution can't be cool and sick and sort of spiritual in some way.
It is all three.
But it, I mean, that's.
So you're saying,
and consciousness, there's consciousness, which is this ununderstandable thing. I hate that. I hate that little thing. I hate Apple.
I think
I
I
hate
got
Tim
that
Cook.
too, actually. Yeah, I got that too.
There's
Mac laptops.
there's consciousness, which is this ununderstandable thing, which I think we can call God if we want to. But like, what other mechanism do we have that this could come from? Is some basis in like how evolution works.
That's a beautiful question. Okay, so
well, there is
positive reinforcement.
There is also because evolution, you need to already have life in order for evolution to kind of happen. So there's whatever mechanism. There's whatever mechanism it derives a planet that can support it.
Can I try to restate your question, France?
That we know of.
Yeah, was Dan done though?
I think, I don't know if Dan was done, but I'm not sure that y'all are necessarily talking about the same thing.
I think we are.
Maybe
we're literally talking about two different things. You're talking about you're talking about what comes right after what I'm asking about.
Okay, yeah.
So in order to get evolution, we need to have single-celled organisms that are smashing into each other for millennia or whatever. So how do we get that? How do we get a
Yeah. Okay.
a molecule that is sentient enough to want to wiggle?
Okay.
And
So
so we
there's
need
about
an atmosphere and like but then also this is separate from a God discussion. These are two things that are both awesome that are entirely separate from a God thing, and these are the things that John Green wants to talk about.
so which one would you guys like to talk about first?
Let's talk about life, and then let's talk about life, and then let's talk about God, because I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I will say I'm not sure if those questions are different in the way I've been thinking about this type of thing. But we want to talk about how we get the conditions for life, and I think we should do that.
Yeah.
Can I
So it's
connect
like
them? I think maybe, but I'm not sure. Go ahead, Dan.
I'll work on it.
so it's like, all right, so we got the sun. The sun is so fucking big. It's like bullshit. Like, dude, no one could possibly actually comprehend how big it is.
I
There's
hate it when
other
people say that,
ones,
by the way.
though.
Have some fucking faith in your ability to visualize.
I don't have faith in my abilities to picture stuff. If something's bigger than 2 football fields, it's real big. And I can't go any bigger than that. So but it's also like confirmed there's other suns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's other
They're way
ones
bigger.
that are way bigger. And it's like, yeah, so those guys are also probably in similar situations to us where there's a bunch of little rocks around them.
I
some of
love
them
the
got
sentence,
big-
Dan. I love the sentence. It's also been confirmed that there are other suns. It's like they're fucking
Yeah, there's
stars.
other
You mean
ones.
stars?
Yeah, stars.
That's great,
Yeah.
honestly.
If by like it's confirmed as in you look up and see them at night.
Yeah.
So it's like going off of our thing of like we got 8 planets. We got 8 planets around a star, and it's like one of them's got it. One of them's got it. So even that's a pretty good ratio of like 1 in 8. That's pretty good.
Totally.
And so it's like, what gave it the 1 in 8? Why isn't it 3 in 8? It's just difficult to have an atmosphere.
This is a very common argument for God's existence.
Really?
The fine-tuning argument.
But it doesn't sound like it to be. It sounds like if it was 8 out of 8, then it would be like, oh God, definitely. But it's 1 out of 8. Like an all-powerful deity could only pull it off 1 out of 8 times.
Yeah. So the fine-tuning
I want you
argument
guys
is
to know that I'm having to fight. That I'm listening, but I want to start lecturing. So let me know when that's
let's
it's the
hear
right
it.
time.
Like,
No,
get
I just wanted to say that one thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
We're
But
talking about
that is
God
ludicrous,
too.
though. It's
Well,
like God goes to the slot machine 8 times and wins once, so he's got to be good at gambling.
Well, what I more meant was that the conditions for life seem so specific and seem so small, the chance of having life, that how do you create those conditions if there isn't like a divine creator? But
you roll dice a million times.
Well, yes, and that's the problem with the argument from my perspective. But Eli, continue.
I didn't mean to stop you guys. I just meant that I just wanted you to know that I was in pain. So okay. So there's a whole bunch of ways that we could approach this question. The fundamental question is like, how unlikely is it? Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's so okay, let's try to understand that. So first of all, we're familiar with this thing called the genome, or a genome, a species genome. In order to have a prokaryotic cell, which is a cell without a nucleus, which is the first type of cell was a prokaryotic cell, you need deoxyribonucleic acid, commonly known as DNA. It has to sort of be strung together somehow. And you also, worse, need these things called proteins. And the crazy thing about proteins is that they're complicated hydrocarbon molecules that don't just have to have the right elements in them. They have to have a specific shape. This is what's called folding, protein folding. And if you have a protein and it's not folded the right way, we call that denatured. If you guys have ever heard about denatured proteins, that's what we're talking about. It's like the wrong shape.
I've never heard about denatured proteins.
I've heard about denatured alcohol. Is it similar?
No, I can also talk about denatured alcohol, but I won't. That's not
No, I don't want to
relevant
break
right now.
off.
No, we can't do another topic.
I know, I
No.
know, I know, I know. No. Fucking okay.
So,
So
denatured proteins.
So
They were
yeah,
folded.
if they're not folded correctly, they don't work. They can't do what the if RNA, messenger RNA, is not in the right twisted shape, it doesn't move the information from the DNA through the nuclear wall to the rest of the cell. It just doesn't happen. So not only do you have to have the right elements in these polymers, you also they have to be put in that shape. And so it's like insanely complicated. It's ridiculously. It's like the number of wheels on that slot machine is like trillions of trillions that have to all align. So God exists, right?
Mm. Well, in the Jordan Peterson sense of the word, God absolutely exists, because there is something that did create the universe and create it in the way that it is now,
So
that we do not understand.
yeah, but as with
But
so
we
many
don't know
things,
what that thing is, and there's no proof that it's God.
yeah,
that
as
it's
with so many
God.
things, I think that Jordan Peterson's conclusions mostly come from just a failure of imagination. Like,
Yeah, he's a silly
because
man.
it seems like you couldn't even imagine a mechanism other than God by which this could come to be. That all these trillions of wheels could align. Right?
He uses God as a word that means like, he uses God as like an umbrella term that means like, what is the center of your ethical framework in life? But
yeah,
I
and
think
we'll get
I
there.
would see God more as why it's the thing that makes it so hard to conceive of how the universe began.
Yeah.
Because how the universe began, I mean, we live in a deterministic world. When we're talking about how do we have the perfect conditions for life on Earth, we are talking about how the universe began, right? Like, does that make sense?
Sort of. It's a little bit of a trek to get from one to the other. But I would say sort of.
As it should be. It's not a simple answer.
I don't know. I guess that's up to you guys. I don't.
Don't make me decide nothing.
How you guys doing in this conversation, by the way?
Well, I feel
I'm
like I
hanging
just
out.
derailed your thought process because I thought you were at the end of a thought, and I fear you were in the middle.
Nope. It's
Okay.
all. This is a long thought process. That's okay. That's all good.
Yeah. I'm trying to paint God as like this fundamentally like ununderstandable thing about the universe that's like just kind of resting on the outside of the conversation, when I think you're trying to talk about life and I keep like not wanting to talk about that.
No, it's
But
not
I
that.
do.
It's that I don't agree with you. I don't think that consciousness is ununderstandable.
Okay.
I think that's really
you, Mr. Big Brain.
I'm not saying that I understand it.
Some of us don't
right
get
this
to
second.
be so well endowed.
Are you talking about enlightenment?
Tell me about enlightenment. What do you mean by that?
Are you saying that humans can reach a point where they understand consciousness? It's possible?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, which is rather similar to saying that humans can figure out the mechanism by which all of those slot machine wheels can line up, and we get life. I think that we can figure out that mechanism in the same way that we can understand what consciousness is.
Okay. Were you done talking about the proteins? I want to go back to that.
There's no done. There's no done. Yeah.
There's no done. He just stopped because he thought we were checked out.
I was so checked in, but I just didn't want to.
That's not why I stopped.
A different thing.
That's not why I stopped.
Oh.
Because my goal is to actually help you guys, to actually increase your guys' understanding of something related to this. That's my only goal.
Talk about them proteins again.
Yeah. Go back to the mechanisms.
So
go back to them proteins.
the thing to understand is it might literally not be mathematically like conceivable that this could happen even given the number of planets that it might possibly like have had the conditions to happen. It just might, the odds might just be too whack, like too wild
Yeah.
for even in a big universe for this to happen. Life begins pretty early, or rather not that late in the lifetime of the universe. The universe is like 14 billion years old, and life began
Ooh.
on Earth like 4 billion years ago.
Well, that's still 10 billion years after.
Yeah, but it's a pretty decent chunk. So, but anyway,
Yeah, no, that's twice as long as life's been around. It wasn't.
true.
I mean,
but,
for Earth anyway.
But anyway, that if it is like probabilistically just like not likely that life happened, even in the universe this big, the question is, what if the wheels didn't all have to hit at once, right? Let's say that there was a sort of critical mass of wheels that were self-sustaining, so that if some of them come up cherries, you could just stop those from moving the next time you spin the arm. In other words, what if there was a
I don't
process by
understand the
which
metaphor.
I'm going to help you, hopefully.
We were talking about gambling before. We were talking about God at the slot machine, and he wins 1 out of 8 times, so he must be real. So he's back on the talking about the slot machine analogy.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I just go back to what I was talking about there, slot machine, you got 3 wheels, and if they go cherry, 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 you win money. Okay, but what if that slot machine came up cherry, house keys, and you could just put your hand on that wheel so that the next time you pull the arm, only the 2 bad wheels spin.
Yeah.
And so then you could
Are you saying?
Go ahead.
Sorry, continue. Please.
No, that's okay. Give me your question.
Are you saying that if it had been cherries, 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 that there is the implication then that there is some higher form of life that could be possible if it was cherries, 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 but the life that we're existing in and as is just not that higher form that could be possible?
Very close.
Like,
so what I was
maybe this is some defect.
Very close. So what I was actually saying is, initially, what if a lower form of life emerged and it then evolved? So it got to keep rolling, and eventually it would get all the cherries that it didn't get the first time.
How is that different?
I don't know that it's different. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page.
Oh, I'm confused, but I'm confused.
So let's say that you've got this slot machine. It's got 10 wheels. You roll, and 4 of them come up cherries. And then you just take those wheels out of the machine, and you say, this is my first organism. And then you roll again, and every time you get another cherry, you add that onto the organism.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, that's neato.
I do get that.
Actually, dude, we don't need to use the slot machine analogy. We could use a deck of cards, and like poker, where it's like I have 2 aces and I give the 3 cards back, and then he gives me more cards.
Yeah.
Then eventually I'm gonna have all aces in the hand.
I'm not saying that this is what happened. We don't know. I think I don't know if biology has come to a firm conclusion on this in the last like 20 years, but I really don't think it has. But what I'm saying is, thinking that there had to be divine intent for us to exist is just a failure of imagination.
Yeah, I've heard this be used as an argument against fine-tuning. That just because fine-tuning is this argument that because the circumstances for life are so small, the chances for life are so small that it must be God. But the argument against that being like, there's a million other explanations we can come up with for life existing in the way that it does. You're saying that it's God. You have no evidence for that. And I might have a little bit more evidence that this thing happened.
So the other question that you guys asked had to do with what was the evolutionary selection pressure for consciousness? And even what was the evolutionary selection pressure for these types of existential questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's
Sure.
a few ways that you could approach this. So one of them is a neurological structure called the default mode network. This is a structure that's unique to Homo sapiens, and it allows us to think about ourselves. It allows us to sort of reflect on our actions and conceive of it like basically allows us to be self-conscious. Now, why is this
Mm-hmm.
good? Well, maybe you guys can guess. It's like very helpful socially. If there's an evolutionary selection pressure that if the environment that you're evolving in requires collective action, then thinking about your own actions is like advantageous. Can you guys understand? Does that sort of make sense?
I don't
I
understand
think
how
so.
that isn't. Yeah, never mind. Continue.
What do you not? It's okay. We can stop. We can pause.
How would that not be true with other groups that are also social, like birds,
I think it
fish?
is. I think it is true, but by a fluke, by history, like evolutionary history of Homo sapiens, we had the right selection pressures that happened to the right species that this sort of could evolve in the first place. It would take a lot longer of evolution for this to happen for birds, for example, because their brain was less structured for this in the first place. So evolution might find another way to solve that challenge other than building a default mode network.
Got it.
So that is what people throw out as like a reason, an evolutionary reason why we like think about this kind of thing. Um, what do you guys think about that?
That's pretty cool.
I've always like known that this thing existed, but I didn't have like the word for it. Existential. Because it's obvious that yeah. We are the way we are because of things in our brain. Like that's just what it is.
So
Uh
my next question for you guys is that when you think about this type of question, where did life come from, right? Like, is God real? Where in your head, in space, the space sort of between your ears and behind your forehead, is that happening? Can you find it?
Consciousness part?
No, like when you think about these questions, can you pinpoint the approximate? It might be a region, it might be a point. I don't know. You tell me where those thoughts are like occurring. This is subjective. Tell me what it
Towards the
feels
back?
like. Towards the back?
I was gonna say towards the front.
Now that's
Whoa.
interesting.
Front left.
I think front left
No,
Infield.
is,
I feel it like
Shortstop.
here, like a little bit on the top.
yep.
No, I guess I do kind of feel it. I mean, I just feel the front when I think whenever.
My next question is,
So it's like,
go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
no, I think like the front is just always kind of cooking.
Yeah.
So, but when I think
I
about
would
deeper,
agree with
more
that too.
yeah, so it's like when I think about breakfast, it's the front part that's cooking. So it's like it's specifically deeper stuff. It's like I feel it a little higher up and a little like more of the brain is even like being drawn on.
So my
I don't
next
really think
question
that's
is where,
I mean, I don't think it's fair either, but it's almost like that way. It feels that way to me.
yeah, of course.
right.
That doesn't
So
mean it's actually that way.
what were you going to say, Francie?
No, nothing. Continue.
The next question that I wanted to ask is, have you guys ever like had a realization about this subject? Like, have you ever like gotten a little closer or had a moment where you felt like you understood something about this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
so.
where did that happen in the same place?
No.
Oh, I don't remember.
You say no, France?
No, I don't think so.
Where
Because
did
when
the
you get an When you get a realization like that, I feel like it feels like a drop of like something going into your brain from the top.
Okay. Think hard, Dan.
Like a
I
big
would love
funnel.
to get an answer for you. When you have a light bulb moment, can you pinpoint where that happens?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like when I'm thinking about really deep shit, I feel like the front is definitely going, but like what's different about that feeling is I feel also towards like the top.
Yep. Even what you pointed to
Uh,
originally was close to the top.
yeah. Like, yeah. So it's like when I think about bullshit, I think about it at the front. When I think about big stuff, it's the front, and then it's also like at the top. And I feel like when I have a big realization moment, it's also the front, but what's different is I get a top feeling.
So people at
Starting to
home,
think about this is so weird because it's like I don't even know if what I'm saying is what I really think because it's like so hard to conceptualize.
yeah.
That's the thing about
have faith.
language, the
Have
failings
faith.
of language.
Your brain will find the right words. Don't edit them. Say your first impression. Your brain
Yeah.
will find the right words. So people at home, I want you to Google. I'm going to say it so that you can spell it, and then I'm going to say it the way it should be pronounced. I want you to Google Sahasrara Chakra. Okay? Sahasrara Chakra. And you guys
Are we
could,
supposed to be Googling?
yeah, go ahead and you do it too, France and Dan.
How do
I
you
just like
spell that?
instantly forgot. what you just said.
Sahasrara Chakra.
I know how to spell chakra.
Sahasrara. Do it at home too. I'm not putting it on the screen. I want
Crown
you to work for this
chakra
one.
considered your seventh. Oh,
Well, this is just the AI overview. I
Speak,
just
France.
gotta-
What you got?
the crown chakra is considered the seventh primary chakra in Sanatan yoga traditions. The chakra is represented by the color violet.
Where is it?
Function.
Oh, function
Is
is
it
great.
right at
Tell
the
me the
top of the
function.
head?
Crown. I'm assuming crown of.
Tell me the function.
Said to be the most subtle
Oh.
chakra in the system, relating to pure consciousness, and it is from this chakra that all other chakras emanate. When a yogi is able to raise their Kundalini energy
Kundalini,
of
very
consciousness
good.
up to this point, the state of nerve. Oh, so this is what I was trying to say in
It's
bringing up
located at the top
enlightenment
of the
before.
cranium.
Because you once referenced to me
Yoga's a hell of a
shitting me.
drug.
an
Dude, yoga's
idea.
fucked.
When you get an idea or have a realization, you once likened that to having a moment of enlightenment. And I've never forgotten that. We were standing in the breakfast nook of the house up the hill, and later you
Missed that nook.
missed that, man.
Missed that nook.
So
Second best part of the house.
yeah.
Okay. So that's
Porch.
crazy, right? Like,
You get
how
it.
the
Yeah.
fuck did yoga know where your guys' ideas come from? Where your guys' moments of realization come from? That's crazy,
Because
right?
Obviously,
we're human beings.
They were fucking capable of thinking too.
We're literally all built with the same blueprint.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So here's
We're
the
all
thing.
basically the same person if you look at if you just look at us.
Mhm. So
If you cut us up, I would say not if you look at us. I would say more if you cut us up
Yeah.
and look at the inside.
yeah. If
Yeah.
you look at the end, if you look at me and Shaq, you're like Shaq. That's a different. That's a
different
that is a
species.
different creature. That's a whole different thing. Then you look at
Dan's
me
not
and, like,
being
Gary
racist.
Coleman
He's meaning
again.
the height, by the way.
No, he's huge, dude.
I'm just teasing.
He's so big.
So, okay. So we know that, yeah. So what do you guys think about that? Like the idea that enlightenment lives at the top of your head.
I think that's probably true. I think that corroborates what I was saying.
It just like okay. Rhett from Rhett and Link said this thing when he was talking about his spiritual deconstruction, which I've been watching a lot of videos about him talking about. He said, our existence, it seems like there's some spiritual nature of existence, but it is tied to our physical body and is some function of our physical being, tied inextricably to our physical form.
Yeah.
So it makes total sense to me that the spiritual nature of existence is a function of the mind. That's the only way any of this makes sense to me.
Can I try to teach you some yoga real quick?
Nice. Yeah, I can get a stretch.
Oh, not that kind of yoga.
I don't want to.
You don't want to stretch?
I'm not talking about moving. You don't have
Dude,
to
you
move.
got
don't worry.
how often do you stretch? Nah, I'm fucking with you.
I don't stretch.
Ah, you got to stretch a little bit.
I don't want to talk about stretching.
So
Next time we're
Kundalini
in the room
yoga.
together,
That's the
we're
word that
gonna
you
stretch
just.
together. I'm gonna bully you into it. You won't be able to.
Dan,
I'm gonna yell and scream.
lovingly, shut up. So Kundalini yoga, which is the word that Francie just read, is an attempt to characterize the nature of that connection between mind and consciousness and body, right? Rhett is talking about this connection, this inextricable connection. Kundalini yoga is an attempt to characterize and predict the extrication of those things. Okay? And it turns out, according to the theory of Kundalini yoga, that you can't really extricate them in particular. What you really want to do is align them. Okay? This is where the phrase align your chakras comes from. And what the theory says is that if you align the chakras of mind, heart, and body, the Kundalini energy rises up to the top of your head and you achieve enlightenment. Okay? Now I'm going to ask you guys a crazy question. Show me with your bodies what it looks like when you have a light bulb moment. Show me the body language. Not the cartoon
like
version. You actually, this actually happens
I
to
do
you.
that.
Okay.
My eyes get real big and I sit up a little bit.
Okay, great. Francie?
Yeah.
Or if I'm standing, my spine gets a little longer.
I would say I
Because
look
I am
like
a
I
cartoon
just have
character.
heard something shocking. Like, well, like I had a realization earlier, and I looked like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can rewind and know exactly what that looks like because that happened at some point during this episode.
So
I remember it.
there is a connection between consciousness, learning, a straight spine, and the top of your head. We don't know which way the causal relationship flows there. We don't know what causes what. But we know that these things are linked.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Kundalini yoga in a nutshell.
I've been trying to stand up straight. I've been trying to use standing up straight as a way of living my life. It's become very central to my my journey.
Well, if it's so central, you will be able to do it better.
I'm having a fine time.
All right then.
It's just the same as me with rocks, Francie. It's just the same as me with rocks.
Yeah, with
it all
me,
goes back to me not wanting to stretch.
Oh, it all comes for me. It all comes down to stretching.
The crazy thing, Dan.
I had a dance.
The crazy thing, I'm sorry I interrupted you, Fred, is that fucking in yoga, there's this theory that you can achieve enlightenment by literally just stretching.
Okay, I don't know about that. You have to think a little bit, but also stretch. But I don't know if you could hit enlightenment without stretching at all.
Maybe not. But what they say is you can hit enlightenment. What they basically say is just very hard to hit enlightenment if your back isn't straight.
Yeah.
Very central tenet in yoga.
My back is straight.
I love that.
I'm not insulting you.
But that's legit. That's a legit thing. It's like one of the most important things in yoga.
Stretching. My aversion to stretching. I was raised in classical ballet from age 4 to age 14.
Yeah, I remember.
And it affected who I am as a person.
Of course it did.
And I did have a dance party the other day by myself listening to Virgin by Lorde, which I can't stop thinking about. It's an amazing album, and I'm so thankful it exists. And I was doing ballet alone in my home, and it was amazing.
So did the ballet create an aversion to stretching?
I think the sort of really overly structured, overly critiqued space of doing dance so much, I was just like, movement is a prison.
Movement is a prison. Wow, I'm the opposite.
Which sounds
absolutely the
crazy to say
opposite.
out loud, and I think I do need to get to the other side of that at some point in my life. I need to be able to think of myself more as a like my body as like just a wheelbarrow carrying around my brain. But
Yeah, but imagine how cool that wheelbarrow can be.
I think the wheelbarrow's fine. I have a fine wheelbarrow. I don't
Yeah,
even.
That
I
wheelbarrow
would
could
even say
also
it
be a
different,
wagon. It could
France.
have 4 wheels.
I don't think you need to do that. I think you will do. I think you will.
Yeah, I need. I will. I want. I want. Oh,
I
Ah,
don't
there we
want to.
go. We found, ladies
I'm
and gentlemen, we found a Samskar.
no, no. I mean, I'm also autistic, and I'm also like averse to shit before it's time. You know, I'll be ready when I'm there. I'll be ready. You know, I get it, and
I don't know
eventually
that
you'll be
Francie has
ready and you'll be
autism.
there. You
Um,
don't know what?
I don't know if Francie has autism. I'm not saying that she doesn't, but like, do you think you do?
I don't know. That's
Okay.
none of my business. Right
Anyway,
now.
that's funny. So
When the
anyway,
time comes, you'll know.
I think so. It's interesting that saying that you will is not something that's comfortable for you, is what it sounded like.
Well, yeah, because I'm carrying around this backpack that's full of like 30 bricks,
Mhm.
but there's some part of my brain that believes that if I take the bricks out of the backpack, that I will be so unrecognizable to myself that it will be akin to like death.
Yeah, so it's great. I
So
want you guys to
why would
now
I put the
Google.
backpack down?
I want you guys to now Google ahamkara. Ahamkara with a K.
You got to spell that.
Ahamkara.
Start with an H.
It's
AH.
it's
Okay.
phonetic.
It's phonetic as fuck.
Self-concept, with impermanent entities such as body, mind, or material objects.
Ah, body, you say?
With
Mind?
the false identification of the self with impermanent entities such as body, mind, or material objects.
So, Francie, what did you just say about standing up straight, taking off that backpack? You remember?
I can stand up straight.
What did you just say? What your voice with your
About taking the
with your
backpack
mouth?
off.
What did you just say about how you consider taking off the backpack?
I feel like I would be becoming like a different person that I wouldn't
No,
recognize.
that's not what you said. Yeah.
I said
Sorry.
I feel like
That
that.
you wouldn't recognize yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And that's obviously terrifying.
Yeah. So what's terrifying about it?
I feel like I have such a strong sort of like relationship with myself that impacts like who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I feel like I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I can. But yeah, so the question is, why is it terrifying to have your identity change?
I guess because your identity is just like how you're perceived in the world. And if you were to be perceived differently, there's no way of knowing if you're going to be still thought of in the same way by
Okay.
that social group that you need to like be a person.
Sure, that makes sense. I think probably a lot of people feel like that. Right? Like if I start acting differently, being a different person, maybe, then but definitely if I start acting differently, then will people like me still?
Right.
I saw you stand up straight
Well,
or
I
sit up
still
straight.
like me still.
You have. I was trying to sit up straight through the whole episode. You can go back and have like a sitting up straight counter for each of us.
I'm at 0 still. I've been slouching.
I've definitely had like 6 distinct posture resets during this.
I've been busting a fat slouch all episode. It's been great.
Where do you guys? What are we talking about right now?
The self. Specifically Francie's self, but we're using her as the stand-in model for humans.
We were talking about when we're thinking about existential questions, where does that happen in the brain? And then we started talking about chakras. And I imagine we're circling around something about the nature of like life and consciousness and existence.
So, Fritzy, what is the nature of life and consciousness and existence?
I don't know.
Using only ingredients that we've put on the countertop in this podcast.
I mean, I think we live in like a deterministic world where everything has been impacted by things happening in the past.
Yep.
I think that evolution is such a good kind of like concrete example of looking at that and how that works. I don't know if I think that everyone has a distinct purpose, but I think even thinking that we have a purpose can make your life a lot easier.
Yeah, totally.
It seems evolutionarily advantageous for people to believe that there's some higher purpose, whether that is like for them or to have a relationship with God. I don't know if I think that we each have a distinct purpose to being alive. But it's changed my life for the better thinking that we do.
Beautiful. And Dan, what do you think? What is the nature of life and existence and consciousness?
Well, I think everything Francie said, but I think that to believe that there is a specific thing that you were put here to do, I think that's potentially hazardous. Because it means we're trying to. It means some people are going to try and do it, which that could potentially open dangerous doors.
I don't think anyone's purpose could ever be for evil. I think that if you're trying to do something bad, then that is not your purpose.
No one thinks that they're evil.
I don't believe in evil, so I'm just saying. I'm using the word. I don't believe in evil.
All right.
No one is born evil.
That's another. Okay, you just said 2 different things.
Okay, when
you said there is no evil and no one's born evil.
Be careful. So wait a second before you guys go on. Be careful about language, because we don't want to get into an argument before we've established that we're talking about different things.
Yeah.
So
I don't believe anyone is born evil. I don't believe that anyone is born for evil. Anyone is born to do bad things. If you're doing bad things, it's because something happened to alter your mind, and that probably is drive back to like some negative experience that you had in your childhood or some traumatic experience.
That's all
I was trying to say by evil doesn't exist.
Let me try to lay this out for a second. So we're talking about a deterministic world, which is to say everything that's happening is a series of chemical reactions that make sense, and nuclear reactions that make sense. And if you knew the initial conditions and you knew all the rules, you could tell everything that's going to happen, which might be true, but it's not our experience. So here's what our experience probably is. Everything's been deterministic, and people have choices. And here's purpose. Here's what purpose is. Because you have a choice. You have all kinds of choices. This is our experience. So we have choices. And the granularity of how much you're able to actually engage with your choices has to do with how high your thoughts are in your head.
Yeah.
If you can really get those thoughts up high and sit up straight, just like Dan just did, then you can engage with your choices a little bit more. Your consciousness has sort of increased or become more relevant to what the choice actually is. So yeah, everything, it's like this is people talk about fate versus free will. Everything that happened up until now, you can't choose. And what you do right now, you could choose. This is one of the reasons that thoughts are actions, because I can think a thought, right? I can think a thought, but that's a choice that I have right now. And so then that also explains things like purpose, like karma and dharma, like your responsibility. Because if you've been given the choice to help somebody or not, then it's your responsibility to make that choice. It's not your responsibility to help somebody necessarily, but you have been given that choice. And you're going to make it either way. Like, you have to do it. You have to do one or the other. So this is what purpose is. Purpose is what choices you've been given. And it's, this is part of faith. I have faith in people once they understand what their choices are, once they understand, like once they're capable of calmly sort of engaging with what their choices are. That's all I want. And then after that, people are going to make the right decisions. That's what I have faith in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it gets into like our initial question. It's like, why are we curious about where life came from? I think we kind of know the answer now, based on what I just sort of said. What do you guys, based on the immediate, just what just happened in the conversation, like, what would you say the reason is?
Well, we like feeling like we understand. We feel our spine feels straighter and the universe makes more sense.
What do
And
you like
maybe that'll
about it?
make it easier to do that shit tomorrow.
Okay.
It makes you strong.
How so?
Makes you strong. It means that things aren't going to deter you so much.
Deter you from
Some
what?
kid's gonna come. Oh, so say some kid rides up on his bike and says, "Nice shirt, loser," and then drives off and then bikes off. You're gonna feel a lot less bothered by that.
Yeah. So it allows you to make the harder of two choices, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
yeah. I don't think it's that weird. No, I think that being comfortable in your mind and your body and yourself, you'll be a lot less ticked off by outside elements, like a car driving straight gets hit by a little bug, it just goes right through, versus like a feather gets hit by a little bug, it might totally change direction. It's got more mass, it's harder to change its trajectory.
So this gives us a really interesting answer to the evolution question, because if somebody's capable of making better decisions once they've explored like questions like, where did I come from? Why does life exist? Then they're actually capable of like making better decisions in their life. Then that's going to be an evolutionary advantage, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that would, I mean,
Yeah.
an evolutionary advantage, I don't know if I could, because I mean, I guess we did evolve to want to know these questions. So we did evolve to want to be better.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
What were
So
you
it
gonna
is an
say?
evolutionary advantage.
it reminds me of two things. It reminds me of that thing, the phrase that you're always saying, like, that basically means like, uh, we're a part of the whole, and the whole is the whole. What is that thing that you say?
And there is a whole, WHOLE. You could take a piece from the whole, but it still remains whole. The whole is not diminished by taking the piece. The whole is still represented in the piece.
Right. So like, yeah. So it just makes me think about that and our place in the universe. But I think we're all so what?
I got you, homie. You just keep going. We'll figure it out.
Like, so when I feel bad, I okay. my boss has been he makes fun of me every day, and it really bothers me, but I never say anything about it.
Fuck.
And it's just he's a jokey person. He makes fun of me for like little things I do, and it makes me feel bad, and it affects my ability to do a bunch of things that I would like to do, like feel confident, and like, you know, just all of these little things. And so I think it's so obvious to say that, like, if I was able to feel more confident, then it would make every decision in my day easier, including how to deal with like these little things that'll come up and like make you feel bad about yourself. Because we're talking about self-perception, or we were at one point talking about self-perception, default mode network. And we were talking about my own perception of myself with the, what was the word? This,
Ahamkar?
yeah. And so I just feel like everyone can think of examples from their own life where if they were able to feel more confident and less insecure, X thing would have been easier.
Yeah, totally.
And I
Yeah,
feel like
so
I've been dealing with that so much in my day-to-day life.
So the question, Francie, is like, if you knew that the reason you were feeling bad is just because of your default mode network, and you're like, oh, I'm feeling self-conscious, I'm feeling unconfident, but that's like because my default mode network is acting up. Would that make the subjective experience of being teased less unpleasant?
I don't think so, because that's just in the mind. We're still just in the mind. And I know that we've talked about before how the mind-body can't actually be disconnected, but we're still just thinking thoughts. We're not actually changing the way we're
That's a good point. Not if you
existing.
thought.
We're still not standing up straight.
So I'm not saying if you thought that it was your default mode network, not if you physically thought that, like you made the thought go through your head. If you knew that the only reason that you were feeling this was because your default mode network was acting up. If you'd had a light bulb and were like, oh, that's why this is happening, what would it do to the experience? Would it change it? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I've only been able to relate to stuff like that when I'm really comfortable, when I'm either alone or when I'm around people who make me feel really comfortable. I'm not sure if I've ever had that type of realization in an uncomfortable situation.
So that
maybe
means
that's why it makes me sad.
Yeah, you remember how I was said we don't know which way the correlation goes, but we know that these things are linked. So
sure.
When you feel comfortable, you're capable of detaching yourself from feelings. There's a word for that detachment. It's called vairagya. And we don't
Viagra.
know. Shut up. It's just cataclysmically. Just.
Thirdly, also, shut up.
Yeah, and we don't know which way the causation goes, but we know that when you're feeling comfortable, you can sort of detach from this. So there's a relationship between detachment.
Are you saying that you?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No. Talk.
Are you saying that you can make yourself feel comfortable? Or is this a muscle you have to learn? Because I don't feel like if I'm in an uncomfortable situation that I can just snap my fingers, do a thing.
I'm saying that comfort is detachment. That's what it is.
How do you make yourself able to feel comfortable when you're uncomfortable?
You're not able to do it yourself, or it's very difficult.
So Dan, can you tell me what that difficulty looks like? Like, what is the unit of difficulty of doing that?
Well, it takes a lot of internal confidence. You need, ideally, we're programmed with this.
What does that confidence get you?
The ability to detach, or
connect those two dots for me. Connect those two dots.
What were the two dots again?
One is having internal confidence, and the other is the ability to detach what someone is saying or about you from what you think about yourself. Connect those two dots.
Well, it's all right. I'm just gonna say what I was thinking, because I don't know if I can change my trajectory. It's like we're like an amount of love within us that we're programmed with is like supposed to keep is going to keep us strong when challenged. When we believe that we're okay and that things around us are okay, we're going to feel more rational. And and then when things get bad later, we're going to have that feeling we're going to have that previous feeling to pull from.
Okay, you say we. You mean our
People.
own selves no, there was something. It's a little bit more specific, I think, what you meant there, because there's like you, and then there's the thing that kind of knows that, or like sometimes knows that it's different from like what's being described by this other person who's teasing us. There's like there's a you with all the emotions and all this and the body and like all that stuff inside it. But then there's like another you, the way you are using the word we, as in we each have one of these. But it's like it's this nugget inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that version of us is supposed to have a whole lot of defense around it. And we're supposed to be able to pull that version out. Or we're supposed to be able to like
Yeah.
go. Go, Francis.
Is this what people call like the third eye?
Oh,
like,
I don't know.
Are we talking about something like that, like some spiritual
No.
connection to something that we can all connect to?
Yeah, it's not spiritual. I'm just listening to Dan.
Spiritual guy, actually.
Yeah, well, okay. So whether or not it's spiritual is like a subjective thing, whether it feels spiritual.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, there's this.
I just really wanted to notice Dan's words, which are very telling. Like you guys found the Sahasrara Chakra just out of your words, right? So if I just listen to Dan's words,
cool.
there's
I love words too.
There's the thing, there's like the Dan, okay? And then inside there's the thing that sometimes knows it's being made fun of, and it's like it's not this thing that's being made fun. You even talked about this. You're like it's kind of like independent from the teasing. Like if you're lucky, you know that you're independent from the teasing. But there's a you, and that's independent from the teasing. There's a thing in there.
So that little thing is supposed to have all this big orb around, this big like rock around it. And like that rock made of love is supposed to keep it protected. It's supposed to keep it safe. So when you have enough of that, then you know that, and then someone's going to shoot a little thing at you, and it's just not going to knock you away. It's not going to hit that little man in there.
But what I want to point out is the separation. Okay?
Yeah.
Because what I suspect is true, you guys can tell me if this doesn't sound subjectively true, because like I could be wrong, or maybe there's a language problem, but what I suspect is true is that it's the separation itself. If you can sort of ground yourself in the separation, then that's what the confidence is. Like that's what confidence is.
Well, so we've talked before about the different parts of the self.
Yep.
So like there's the true self, which is maybe this thing, this inner thing. And then there's like your ego. And then there's like all of these parts of yourself.
Yeah. So Dan.
And so.
Sorry, Francie. Go ahead.
Continue.
I didn't give enough wait time. That was the problem.
I just wanted to bring that up. That I feel like we're talking about these different parts of the self.
Yeah.
And that there's some true self that's maybe could be thought of as the center.
Yeah. So Dan, the true self is when you talk about the love barrier, that's not, so the true self is the love barrier. It's not, the rock at the center is the ego, because the ego is the thing that's injured by the arrows. The rock is arrow invulnerable. Just in your analogy, the rock itself is arrow invulnerable. Okay?
Yeah.
And it is not protecting the ego. Right? Like the ego, there are things that you do to protect the ego. Like what are things that we do to protect the ego?
Lie to yourself.
Yeah. But what you know is you doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just know that it's you. So they're like different things, right? There's like the true self, whatever that is, The you, the what you said was we, and then there's the ego, right? And the ego can get hit and also can try to protect itself. But the true self can't really get hit. It's like made of rock. That was your analogy.
Yeah.
So, where is it? Where is it, y'all?
The true self.
Yeah, Dan, when you said don't unless like this is the word that your mind came up with, because remember, we're trusting the words that your minds come up with, the words that you say. Dan, you said we have this thing. Where is it?
I mean, I feel like it's in the body.
Okay. Where?
Yeah, I feel like it's in the chest. I feel
Mhm.
like
Yeah, that's what I was
that,
gonna
or
say
it's
as well.
or maybe it is that feeling in the front of your head. That's just always thinking. Maybe it is that, but I do feel like it's here.
So
I feel like
be
it's in your
specific, Dan.
chest,
I
or
need you to
it's
point to both of those locations.
Well, I mean, right here is where all the it's all the thinking. I feel it right here, or I feel it right here. All of it, all thinking is there. But I feel like a lot of my feeling is kind of here.
Okay, so
But
now
like
where are
deeper,
you?
like where the heart would be, but like a little lower,
Yeah.
like sternum,
Now where
like
are you?
3 inches past the sternum.
Thinking, feeling, but where's the you?
I'm in the chair. Me.
Yeah,
Here.
get more specific. It is probably somewhere in the chair. But like, give me some more decimal places.
More
Francie, you can
decimal
put your
places?
arms down.
It's like
trying to answer the question.
Thank you.
yeah,
I appreciate it. I want better answers from Dan.
no, it's like at the bait where the ribs touch like this, where
Yeah.
the two cases of the ribs meet. It's like 3 inches deep from there.
Yep. Okay. So you guys,
Maybe
if you
a little
want,
above.
can Google where the chakras are and see if you found some more of them. When
Yeah.
you can find yourself, that's what they mean by the Kundalini energy rising to the top of your head. That's what it is.
All right.
So, Dan, you found yourself here and here. Neither one of those
Yeah.
places is at the top of your head. Look for where you are. And if you find it, that's the energy rising through your body to the top of your head. Find the thing that isn't thought, that isn't feeling, that isn't ego, that isn't protection. Find the thing that's made of rock. That
You're saying it
which
moves around.
doesn't change. Now it doesn't move. Well, I'm not really saying. I'm asking for you guys to like going forward after this podcast. I want you guys to like examine this experience. You guys have had ridiculous success in predicting major concepts in yoga. So there's no reason for me to think it's going to stop here. Continue to examine, like find where you are, find the rock. And like then you'll know.
Okay. So I'll do that in the future, or do you want me to do it right now?
I don't think that you'll succeed right now. Maybe.
No,
but
no way.
yeah.
I don't feel like I feel good enough to really answer questions about how to feel good.
Very good. Beautifully
No,
put.
honestly, dude, like I straight up ain't in that spot where I can be that guy for you.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's gotta line up. It's gotta be aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not aligned. Like straight up. Like that's where you are, right? That shit is so not lined up. And it sucks, dude. I hate that you're going through this. I hate it.
Yeah. For those at home, I still got a broken foot.
Yeah.
So I don't got the roots of the tree they're not where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
They're in the
biggest
wrong
fear is
place.
one of my biggest fears is something happening to my dominant hand.
Yeah. Same.
Because that's what's connected. I mean, if I wasn't able to use my right hand, writing would be hard, playing music would be hard. doing my job would be hard. And so for you, it's just that type of thing of like, I don't know, it just sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Great
You
work
can't,
on
like, move
the
around.
skeleton thing, Dan. I mean,
Oh, thank you
just
very much.
round of applause. It was great. It's very
much.
cathartic to
I'm finding out
see,
on my knees.
in a sense.
Yeah, more of that type of stuff coming.
Great.
Uh,
Questions
Woo.
before we go.
nah, I got no questions.
Cool.
I feel like this was good.
Yeah, I think you guys did a great job. You let me know what you thought how you thought I did, but you guys did great.
I think this was a fun one.
Yeah, this one was good. It's crazy that our concepts were that like we were both expressing interest in basically very similar things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wrote my
That's
topics
really
down actually, like, I think 2 months ago.
Oh wow! I came
Yeah.
up with. I was just in bed yesterday going to sleep. I'm like, what am I going to ask tomorrow? Well, I really want to know about this. Okay, yeah. Then I went to sleep.
Well, also, if you look at the topics document, which I'll pull up, my ideas were literally mind-body separation and race realism, which I think we kind of touched on. Karma. Do good things happen to good people? I hate these fucking balloons. And what the fuck is up with the Christian God? And these I all wrote like months ago. Like, actually, probably a month or two ago. So that's funny that we kind of, there's only one conversation.
That's a huge leak.
Yeah, it's a big
Yeah.
It's a sneak preview for people who stayed to the end.
That's
All right.
the end of season 1.
Okay. Thank you guys so
everyone.
much for watching this episode of Was This Helpful? We're going to try to do this weekly. We've changed the workflow, and I'm going to try to do this weekly. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you, Dan and friends, for joining us, and we'll see you. Yes, and we'll see you next time.